Hello, we will walk you through how to use the NETSIL AOC during blue-green deploys, and how the AOC can help you quickly identify issues and avoid downtime. This map is for Kubernetes namespace latency demo, and it is a map at the pod level. Note how we use the filter to select the namespace in group by to set the map level to pods. We will evaluate the impact of new pod deployments on its dependencies in this namespace. Before we begin, we would like to point out some of the key metrics that we will be monitoring for the services running in our application. The app has three components: HTTP client, HTTP intermediate server, and HTTP server. Notice that we can see the latency and throughput numbers for these services directly on the map. For example, HTTP client has a throughput of about 50 RPS, and intermediate server has a latency of about 10 milliseconds. Let's dig in a bit more. Let's see what the URIs are contributing to the latency. Here we can see that the HTTP URI /call Postgres has a latency of about 10 milliseconds. Also, we can see that the URI /call HTTP has a throughput of about 30 RPS. Now let's go to our deploy environment. We will deploy a new version of the HTTP server, and we'll see if the new deployment has any adverse effects on dependent services. We have just finished a new deploy. Let's go back to the AOC and see how things look. You may want to reduce the time period window. The AOC populates the application topology based on the chosen time period. In order to see the effect of the new deploy quickly on the topology, we will change this window to the last minute. Notice that the latency numbers have gone up and throughput has gone down significantly. We can also use the time travel feature to verify that the performance impact did indeed come from the recent deploy. We can go back in time to a moment before the deploy and notice that the latency and throughput numbers are back to their pre-deploy values. This is a very powerful feature in the AOC that allows you to conduct a quick post-mortem and identify the root cause of an issue quickly and how the issue may be impacting various services in your application. In the single-click view of the AOC, you can immediately identify the URIs that have the highest latency numbers. Notice again that it is the HTTP URI /Postgres that has the highest latency, but now the latency is orders of magnitude higher than it was earlier. Also notice that the throughput on that same URI has dropped significantly. Now let's roll back our recent deploy. Once again, you can see immediately on the topology map that the latency and throughput numbers are back to their original state. Measuring latency between HTTP requests and throughput served by the services is critical to monitoring the application path. We use the NETSIL AOC maps to understand dependencies, and we use the latency and throughput metrics to understand the impact of new deployments on dependent services. Using NETSIL, DevOps teams can fully evaluate the deployments and reduce the risk of production downtime. You can get started for free with NETSIL at netsil.com and gain unprecedented visibility into your applications.